Every great achievement begins as a quiet idea, fragile and untested. In the early stages, a vision needs protection more than praise. When you speak too soon about what you plan to do, you expose that vision to voices that have not walked your path and do not carry your responsibility. Doubt enters subtly, sometimes disguised as concern, sometimes as advice, but its impact is the same. It weakens belief before belief has had time to grow strong roots. Silence, in this sense, is not secrecy driven by fear. It is discipline driven by wisdom. Knowing when to remain quiet allows your confidence to develop from within rather than relying on external validation. When your motivation depends on applause or approval, it becomes unstable. But when your belief is built in silence, it becomes unshakable. You move forward because you are committed, not because others are watching. Many people abandon their goals not because they lack ability, but because they listen too early to the wrong voices. Some people project their own limitations onto others. They tell you what is realistic based on what they were willing to attempt, not on what you are capable of achieving. When you keep your vision private, you avoid carrying the weight of other people's fears. You remain free to think boldly, to experiment, and to grow without pressure. Silence also gives you space to adjust. In the early stages of any journey, plans will change. Strategies will evolve. Mistakes will be made. When too many people are watching, every adjustment feels like failure. But when you work quietly, learning becomes natural. You can refine your approach without explaining yourself, without defending decisions, and without feeling embarrassed by growth. Think of your goal as a seed. A seed does not demand attention. It does not announce what it will become. It stays hidden beneath the soil, drawing strength quietly, preparing for the right moment to emerge. If you dig it up too soon to check its progress, you slow its growth. In the same way, constantly talking about your plans can interrupt the internal process required for success. Protecting your vision through silence allows it to mature. When the time is right, results will speak with clarity and authority. Until then, quiet commitment is your greatest advantage. One of the most common traps on the road to success is mistaking talk for progress. When people speak about their goals, their plans, and their future achievements, the mind often experiences a sense of accomplishment, even though nothing has actually been done. This is dangerous, because success is never built on intention alone. It is built on action, repeated consistently, whether anyone notices or not. Talking creates comfort. Action creates change. The moment you announce what you are going to do, your brain receives a small reward similar to the feeling of completing a task. This false reward can reduce the urgency to work. You feel closer to the goal, but in reality, you are standing in the same place. True progress does not feel glamorous. It often feels boring, uncomfortable, and lonely. That is why so few people stay committed long enough to see results. Action, unlike talk, demands discipline. It requires you to show up on the days when motivation is low, asks you to practice when improvement feels invisible. It forces you to face mistakes instead of explaining them away. While words are easy and instant, action is slow and demanding, but only action builds skill, character, and momentum. Another danger of excessive talking is that it invites comparison. Once your plans are public, you begin to measure your progress against others. This comparison steals focus and creates pressure that leads to frustration or quitting. When you work quietly, your only competition is yesterday's version of yourself. That focus allows steady, meaningful growth. Real results come from small, consistent efforts compounded over time. No speech, no announcement. No promise can replace the power of daily discipline. The strongest foundations are built in silence, through routines no one applauds and efforts no one sees. These are the moments that shape outcomes. If you want real results, shift your energy from explaining to executing. Let your schedule show your commitment instead of your words. Let your habits speak louder than your intentions. When action becomes your language, progress becomes unavoidable. Focus is one of the most valuable assets on the path to success, yet it is also one of the easiest to lose. The moment your plans become public, distractions begin to appear. People offer opinions, advice, warnings, and comparisons, often with good intentions, but rarely with full understanding. Each comment pulls your attention away from your own direction and places it on someone else's perspective. Over time, this noise can dilute clarity and slow progress. When too many voices enter your journey, decision-making becomes harder. You start questioning steps that once felt clear. You hesitate, overthink, and second-guess yourself. What began as a simple plan becomes complicated by external expectations. Keeping your goals private allows your thinking to remain clean and focused. You move forward based on purpose, not pressure. Distractions are not always loud. Sometimes they arrive as comfort. When people know your goals, they may encourage you to slow down, to be patient in the wrong moments, or to settle for less than your potential. This kind of distraction feels safe, but it quietly pulls you away from growth. Focus thrives when you remove these influences and commit fully to the work in front of you. Silence also protects your energy. Every explanation, every defense of your vision costs mental effort. Energy spent justifying yourself is energy taken away from building, learning, and improving. When your path is private, you preserve that energy for what truly matters. You stay aligned with your priorities instead of reacting to opinions. Staying focused means accepting that not everyone needs to understand your journey. Clarity comes from within, not from consensus. When you limit external input, your attention sharpens. You become more consistent, more intentional, and more resilient. Progress becomes steadier because it is no longer interrupted by doubt introduced from outside. The fewer distractions you allow, the stronger your commitment becomes. Quiet focus creates momentum. And momentum, once established, is difficult to stop. Expand the keynote forward. Don't add heading and speaker name up to 500 words. True success never needs excessive explanation. Results carry a level of credibility that words can never achieve. When people speak constantly about what they plan to do, they often feel the need to prove themselves. But when real results appear, proof is no longer required. Achievement speaks clearly, confidently, and without argument. When you allow your work to develop quietly, you remove the pressure to impress. There is freedom in not having to convince anyone. You are no longer chasing approval, you are building substance. This shift changes everything. Your focus moves from how you are perceived, how well you are performing. Over time, this commitment to quality produces outcomes that naturally demand attention. Results also command respect in a way explanations cannot. Words can be questioned, doubted, or dismissed. Outcomes cannot. When people see consistency, improvement, and growth, they begin to listen without being asked. Your actions create curiosity. Your discipline builds authority. Your success becomes evidence of your mindset, your habits, and your perseverance. Another powerful advantage of letting results speak is timing. Speaking too early weakens impact. Speaking after achievement strengthens it. When success arrives, the same people who doubted you will ask how you did it. At that moment, your story carries weight because it is backed by experience, not ambition. Your journey becomes inspiration rather than speculation. Letting results speak also protects humility. You stay grounded because your confidence comes from what you have built, not what you have promised. This quiet confidence attracts opportunities, partnerships, and trust. People are drawn to those who deliver, not those who declare. In the end, the most effective introduction is not a description of who you want to be, but a demonstration of who you have become. When your results arrive first, your words become optional and far more powerful. Success is rarely the result of one dramatic moment. It is built through patience, consistency, and a long-term commitment to growth. Most people underestimate how much time meaningful achievement actually takes. They rush to show progress instead of allowing progress to fully develop. This impatience leads to frustration, comparison, and eventually quitting. Those who succeed understand that great outcomes require time to mature. Consistency is powerful because it compounds. Small actions done daily may seem insignificant in the moment, but over weeks, months, and years, they create extraordinary results. The challenge is that consistency offers little immediate reward. There is no instant recognition, no quick applause. That is why discipline matters more than motivation. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline keeps you moving forward, even when progress feels slow. Patience teaches you endurance. It trains you to trust the process rather than chase shortcuts. Many people talk themselves out of success because they expect visible results too quickly. When those results don't appear, they assume something is wrong and abandon the effort. In reality, nothing is wrong. Growth is simply happening beneath the surface. Like strength training or skill development, improvement often remains invisible until it reaches a tipping point. Working quietly over time also builds emotional strength. You learn to rely on your own standards instead of external validation. You stop measuring success by how impressed others are and start measuring it by how consistent you are with your commitments. This internal standard creates stability. You are no longer shaken by slow days or temporary setbacks because you understand the long game. Long-term commitment also allows mastery to develop. Skills sharpen through repetition. Judgment improves through experience. Confidence grows through proof. None of this can be rushed. Those who remain patient give themselves the opportunity to become truly exceptional rather than temporarily impressive. When patience and consistency come together, success becomes inevitable. You may not notice the progress day to day, but one day you look back and realize how far you've come. And when that moment arrives, it won't feel sudden, it will feel earned. Success is not built through announcements, explanations, or early applause. It is built through quiet belief, disciplined action, focused effort, and patient consistency. When you protect your vision, act instead of talk, eliminate distractions, and allow results to speak for you, you create a foundation that cannot be easily shaken. The journey may feel lonely at times, but it is in that silence where strength is formed and character is refined. Those who succeed understand that timing matters. They wait to speak until their work has substance. They trust the process even when progress is invisible. By committing to growth in private, they earn the right to stand confidently in public. In the end, the loudest statement you can make is a life that reflects effort, discipline, and achievement, no explanation required.